Welcome, everyone, and thank you for attending today's webinar. I'll take just a minute to introduce myself. I'm Tom Pearson, and I have a life coaching business called Own My Greatness. Now, I've been involved in performance improvement and professional advancement for about 22 years of my career. And I'm one of those people who's changed careers multiple times, at least 6 times, depending on how you define change. See, I've always been trying to figure out what I like to do most and what I wanted to do for the remainder of my career. So to start my coaching business, I quit my corporate job. I walked away from the very nice compensation, perks, and benefits of working for a large corporation to go after my dream, my passion, which is to support myself and other people in getting what we really want in our lives by learning and applying the techniques that have worked so well for me and many other people that I know. And I'll be honest with you, I had a few mental barriers to overcome. And I've had those throughout my career, really. Fears, insecurities, worries of some type, because I've always challenged myself and I've always pushed myself to do things that I wasn't comfortable with, that I hadn't done before. But I've learned the techniques for overcoming these kinds of fears and self-doubts and worries. And I did this by improving how I think, what I think about, and then doing the right things. And that's why I'm so excited to teach and coach people on how to get better results, how to achieve, how to succeed. Most people want to pursue their dreams and goals, and being a part of that is so incredibly rewarding for me. So what I speak to you about today is something that I've benefited from, and I've personally witnessed hundreds of other people benefit from, which is to do more with the knowledge and skills that we already have to increase our performance and achieve better results in both our professional and our personal lives, because these techniques and tools apply equally well in both areas. Now, a quick note or two about the structure of this webinar before I continue on. First, because I've shortened this webinar to just 30 minutes, there will not be time at the end for Q&A. But I do want to address any questions that you have, so please feel free to email or call me afterwards. And you have my information here, and at the end of the webinar, I'll provide my contact information again. Also, you can use the pause button if you get interrupted during this 30 minutes and then restart and pick up where you left off. This is being recorded, so that allows you to do that. You could also hit the live button if you leave. If you put pause, you can hit the live button and join us right where we are, live. So, and one more thing, I will not be selling anything during or at the end of this presentation. Nothing. However, I will invite you to take me up on a free consultation to talk with you one-on-one about you. That's right, about you. What is it that you want to achieve and how you can get it? Now, here's what you can do to get the most out of this webinar, the most out of this 30 minutes. Be open-minded and resist the temptation to judge. I'm going to advance the slide. Sorry about that. First, be open-minded and resist the temptation to prejudge the content. Also, think about actions you are not taking but should be taking to get more of what you want, to get better results. And third, be aware of the feelings that you have about the things you're not doing. What is causing you to avoid doing those things? This is all very, very big self-awareness stuff. Now, if you do what I suggested just now, expect these payoffs. I call them getting your 3 G's worth. Get smarter. You're going to get smarter on the psychology and the science behind your choices to do or not to do productive activities. You're going to gain self-awareness and start to recognize what you avoid doing and why. And you're going to start to understand how big your gap is between what you know and what you do, what this gap is costing you, and how to begin closing it. Now, I'd like to start quickly by sharing with you my opinion about the broader topic of human potential. First, we all have much, much more talent and capability than we give ourselves credit for. The issue there is that we lack faith in ourselves at times. which keeps us stuck, not doing what we should be doing. Secondly, and this is how we operate, our thoughts cause feelings. Our feelings cause our actions, and our actions in turn cause our results. I mean, this is the universal law of cause and effect at work. Everybody's familiar with that law, cause and effect, right? So if you want better results than you're getting, you have to choose better actions, which requires that you choose a better way of thinking. By that, I mean a way of thinking that has been proven to be associated with success, and which I'm sharing with you today. Now, thirdly, we need support from other people to do our best. That could be peers, a boss, a mentor, a coach. But you know what? Many of us don't seek support from people who can and want to help us. A huge missed opportunity. And last, we cannot reach our full potential without fully acting on the knowledge that we already have. This is the doing part, okay, which is the topic of this webinar. So I'll speak to all of these points during the course of this webinar. But let me stop here and ask you something. What is it exactly that you want to achieve or have? You see, we all want more, bigger, better, greater of something. And we all want to be the star in our own movie, so to speak, right? We're all searching for a way to get better results in our professional life and hopefully our personal life as well. I mean, isn't that true for you? I doubt you'd be on this webinar if it wasn't true for you. So this webinar will be especially valuable if you answer yes to this question. If you did all the things you already know how to do, would your results be better than they are now? Let me phrase that a little differently. The question is, if you did all the things you know you should be doing to grow your business or career, would your results be better than they are now? Well, let's stop and think of a few things that you could be doing more of that would improve your results. How about creating and executing your business plan or your career plan? Or how about some tactical things like leading more presentations or meetings with customers or colleagues, communicating more effectively and more often with your staff, increasing your sales prospecting activities or your job search activities, volunteering for high visibility projects, attending professional networking events, and the list goes on, right? Well, now think about the cost of not doing these things that I just mentioned or any other actions that would lead to better results in your business or career. I mean, what is the price that you're paying? What sacrifices are you truly making in your career or business? Well, I would suggest that you're sacrificing promotions, sales, business profits, annual compensation, the effectiveness of your leadership, employee retention and productivity, again, on and on, right? I mean, this gets to the heart of what's at stake when you hold yourself back and settle for lesser results than you're truly capable of achieving. You see, you pay a price both professionally and personally in settling for lesser results at work. And it's not just you who pays the price. The results we get in our professional life impact our personal life as well, financially and emotionally. So again, ask yourself, how much is this really costing me? Now, I'm going to cover three main points during the remainder of our time. The first of which is this: the biggest performance problem most of us face is our knowing-doing gap. Okay? Again, this is the gap between what you know and what you do. And for some people, this gap is enormous. And let me just say, there are but a few people who do not have a gap, but a few people who are using and acting on 100% of their knowledge. So that means the vast majority of us have a gap of some size or another. And knowing, the point here is that knowing is not enough. Knowing in itself is not enough. And in school, we're taught to know things. We read, we remember, we repeat, we pass an exam, we get a good grade. But you know what? We're not often taught to actually do things, to apply the knowledge in real life. So how much better would your results be if you did utilize all of your knowledge? I mean, really think about that. because knowledge is not enough. It takes doing, it takes action to get results. It's perfectly logical that we would achieve greater results if we simply did more with the knowledge that we already have, right? Yet, we often justify or excuse ourselves from acting on our knowledge by telling ourselves things like, I'm more comfortable doing it my way, or I've had some success doing it my way, or a new or different approach is no sure thing, or that won't work with my customers, or my employees, or my colleagues, or whomever. And what's troubling about this is that most people won't change what they're doing until they feel forced to do so as a result of underperformance, forced by their boss who's demanding better results, or they force themselves when they're not making enough money, or not getting promoted or recognized, or worse yet, feeling the stress of losing their job or their business. Now, wow, isn't that a powerful reason to address this gap now? So I know that significantly more success is attainable using the knowledge and skills that you currently have. I mean, greater success is literally at your fingertips. I agree with my mentor, Bob Proctor, who says, no amount of reading or memorizing will make you successful in life. It is both the understanding and the application of wise thought that counts. And this explains why about 90% of the population continue to get the same results over and over. That's right. Over and over, year after year. And you know what? That was happening to me. That was happening to me. I saw it happen to many of my coworkers during my career. We were stuck getting essentially the same results because we were not taking action on everything we knew that we should be doing. So to summarize, the knowing-doing gap is the biggest performance problem and opportunity for most of us. Now, my second point today is around fear. Fear being the primary cause of our knowing-doing gap. That's right, fear. I mean, what types of fears are we talking about? Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of poverty, fear of success, fear of scarcity, fear of embarrassment. There's a long list of fears. And where do they come from? They come from our insecurities, our self-doubts, our worries. And these are tied to the negative parts of our self-image and our beliefs. These are commonly referred to as your paradigm. Pay very close attention to this concept. Your paradigm and mine is made up of our beliefs about ourselves, about others. It's made up of our habits and behavioral patterns. It's the way that we've been influenced, conditioned, or programmed throughout our life by our environment, by big events that have happened in our life, and by people who have had a very influential role in our life and whose beliefs and habits and self-image we unconsciously adopted. Foremost, our parents or other family members, friends, teachers, coaches, whoever had a great deal of influence. Now, how did your negative and limiting beliefs get created? Well, you, a family member, a friend, whomever this influential person is, told you something about yourself and you believed it. For example, perhaps one of these people or more said things to you like, you'll never be good enough, or smart enough, or creative enough, or educated enough, or you'll never learn, you're an idiot, you're helpless, you're going to fail, you don't know what you're doing. Don't do that, you're going to get hurt. Let me do that for you so you don't mess it up. I mean, you heard something like this repeatedly, and you took it to heart and began believing it, despite all the evidence to the contrary, despite your good grades, despite your accomplishments, etc. Well, your paradigm controls most of what happens in your life. It controls your thinking, which then controls your feelings, which controls your actions, which controls your results. And it's the way it ends up controlling our logic, the logic that we have, the perception that we have, our productivity, and many other things. And ultimately, of course, like I said, what we want to achieve and our ability to achieve. So the thing is, most of our negative self-doubts are lies. They're fabrications. They're not even based on facts or reality. Okay, regardless, these negative beliefs are stored in our subconscious mind and they continue choosing our actions or lack of action until we decide to reprogram our mind. By that I mean reprogramming our beliefs, our paradigm. And most people, unfortunately, wait to change their thinking until the cost of living with their existing negative thoughts and actions become too great to bear any longer. So how does our negative paradigm control our behavior exactly? Well, our fears, our doubts, and insecurities, they act as a thermostat or an autopilot in that they control our movement. They keep us right where we are, locked into our present and unfulfilling results. You have to change these thoughts, if your paradigm, if you want to change your results, which requires strong conscious control over your thinking. So let me assure you that anyone who's ever accomplished anything significant has experienced doubt, fear, and anxiety. I mean, fear and growth go hand in hand. When you courageously face your fears, you automatically experience the growth that you're seeking, and in turn, you remove the barrier to the results that you want. So it's okay to experience negative emotions, but we must be able to dismiss these feelings and instead switch to a positive, empowering channel of thinking, similar to how you would switch channels on your TV or radio to get a more pleasing program. Well, tuning into this new channel of thinking that empowers you to take actions, now that you wouldn't have taken without it, that's what this is all about. So know that there are methods for changing your self-beliefs and habits with more empowering positive ones, and I'll provide some examples of those in a few minutes. So yes, you can change your thinking, which will change your actions, which will change your results. Now, numerous studies and books have been written about how top performers, high achievers, the highly successful people think and behave. And they operate with a different paradigm and belief system than the non-achievers. And these books agree on nearly every point. Success takes self-confidence or faith. It takes desire, persistence, decisiveness, and a whole list of attributes that comprise a mindset, all of which can be created and improved upon. To illustrate this point, haven't you known a person who's been referred to as an overachiever? Now, I've known people who are not well educated, even functionally illiterate, and yet they've accomplished great success in their career or their business. And it's because they operate with the high achiever paradigm. Now, on the other hand, have you known someone who's been referred to as an underachiever? Someone who's absolutely brilliant and skilled, but not accomplishing anything of significance. Why? Because their belief system is holding them back from using what they know, from acting on what they know. So success primarily lies in our belief system, our paradigm. And once we upgrade our belief system, well, then we can tap into our full potential and achieve greater results than we've ever had before. Isn't that powerful? Now, my third point is that changing and improving our belief system, our paradigm, is the fastest path to greater results because it closes the knowing-doing gap. So changing your paradigm starts with awareness. Becoming aware of what your negative beliefs, negative thoughts, negative habits, and feelings are. I mean, that takes being honest with yourself and with your coach or mentor, if you have one, about what holds you back from doing the things that you know you should be doing. Okay, reprogramming your mind also requires a conscious choice about your mental environment. And by that, I mean controlling what you allow into your conscious mind, what you choose to read, listen to, watch, and who you choose to be with. I mean, what thoughts and ideas are you being exposed to? Because where your attention goes, your energy flows, which is a quote from the movie and book, The Secret. You see, we become what we think about. And this is supported in philosophy, psychology, and theology, and has been documented in books and writings for centuries. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, that's a proverb from the Old Testament. Now, groundbreaking books like Think and Grow Rich, written in the 1930s, The Power of Positive Thinking, written in the 50s, Psycho-Cybernetics, written in the 60s. I mean, it's out there. It's been out there for a long time. So this isn't anything new, although there are people who are leading the charge today, people like my mentor, Bob Proctor, people like Tony Robbins and Jack Canfield and Deepak Chopra and Joe Vitale and so many more. And your bookstores and your libraries have shelves full of these books. So the information is widely available. It's right there for the taking. Now, creating a positive new paradigm or self-belief is going to require three things. It's going to require imagination, repetition, and willpower. Starting with imagination, this is an incredible mental faculty that we all possess, though it goes underutilized by most of us. Albert Einstein said, imagination is everything, and it is more important than knowledge. That's what Albert Einstein said, as he credited his imagination as really the core for all of his discoveries and achievements. You see, we think in images. That's how our brain processes and stores information. Using our imagination, we have the ability to create an image on the screen of our mind of the person that we want to become, of the results that we want to achieve, of anything that we want to have. The problem, again, is most of us use our imagination to imagine the worst case outcomes, which stokes the fires of fear and anxiety in us. And again, these images of failure have very strong emotional impact. These thoughts either stop us from taking any action at all, or they distract us from doing our best. So we must harness the power of our imagination to build supportive, positive images of what we want to have, who we want to become, and what we want to achieve. So how exactly do we create a new belief or image of ourselves? Well, some of the most common techniques are autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the repetition of verbal messages done as a means to change perception of yourself or of situation, and ultimately change your actions. Affirmations fall under that category, and a lot of people have heard of affirmations, and they're statements that suggest to yourself a new and better self-concept. Meditations also fall under autosuggestions, and meditations being another tool, something that usually you listen to, and it focuses on a specific belief that you want to adopt or a habit that you want to change. Visualization is also very, very powerful. Visual triggers such as visualization boards or something called mind movies using some technology, those are all things that help to reinforce a new and positive image of yourself. Writing is a very, very potent tool because writing causes you to think. And again, thinking creates a mental image, and the mental image will stir our emotions, and then emotions are the catalyst for the actions that we take and the results that we get. I recommend, highly suggest that you go out on YouTube and search for a video by Oprah Winfrey and also actor-comedian Jim Carrey. They talk about how imagination, what that's done, and they credit their imagination with the success that they've had in their career, specifically crediting visualization and affirmations as what helped them get their start, their big break in their movie career and acting career. So now let's talk about repetition. Some people think it's silly to repeat something to yourself over and over again. But you know what? It does feel a little silly at first. But when you stop to think about how most of your current negative beliefs and self-image were created, it was because we or someone else repeatedly told us that we lacked something or should be afraid of something, and we began to believe it because it was repeated so often. So we use the same technique to create new and more empowering self-beliefs. Makes sense, right? Well, repeating a new positive self-concept over time, okay, that formulates a new strong self-image, a new habit in how you think of yourself, that's the key. That's what repetition does, okay? And it's repeated, I mean daily or multiple times daily. Focus your eyes and your ears on the type of person you want to become, the life you want to have, the things you want to achieve in as much vivid detail as possible. Now, willpower. That's another mental faculty that plays an important role. Willpower is simply the ability to hold that image of ourselves or the image of the result that we want in our mind against all distracting and contradictory thoughts. So again, the three key ingredients to change a paradigm: imagination, repetition, and willpower. And you know what? Creating the new paradigm, it's like walking around with a fire extinguisher. I mean, the when the doubts and insecurities and fears flare up, you extinguish them by focusing your mind on your new paradigm, on your new belief. That's how powerful and that's how it works. Now, here's a quote from the famous Earl Nightingale, known as the Dean of Personal Development, who was greatly inspired by Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and he formed one of the largest distributors of personal improvement material in the world. He went on to say, whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become reality. So I'm happy to discuss these techniques with any of you in a follow-up conversation. The bottom line here is that we must change the image of ourselves that we hold in our mind. We must create a new and better image that is emotionally powerful. We must repeatedly focus our thoughts on this new image, and we must utilize our willpower to hold that image on the screen of our mind. When we do all these things, our self-confidence grows. And then we operate from a position of faith in ourselves, faith in achieving the results that we want. So the question is, are you choosing faith or fear as the primary driver of your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately your results? You know, faith and fear both demand that you believe in something that you cannot see, but you get to choose. I hope you choose faith, because we all have incredible amounts of talent and capability, more than we realize. It's just that somewhere or sometime in our lives, we bought into thinking negatively about ourselves. And this way of thinking, these negative beliefs, are keeping us from getting an abundance of things that we really want in our lives. Things like wealth, health, love, and fulfillment. So if you want better results, you can have it. You simply need to choose a better way of thinking. Now, let me recap the three main points that I just shared with you. First, our biggest obstacle to better performance and results is our knowing-doing gap. Fear is the primary cause of our knowing-doing gap. Self-doubts, insecurities, worries. And lastly, changing our paradigm, our belief system, is the fastest path to greater results. You see, the only thing we can truly control in our life is our state of mind. And our state of mind controls our results. Now, if you're open-minded and you're aspiring for more in your career, I strongly encourage you to do three things. First, increase your awareness. Read books, attend webinars, talk to me, do something, take some action. Secondly, get a coach or a mentor. We cannot reach our full potential without support from other people. Every person who's ever accomplished anything great was guided by someone else. I mean, this is true in business, academia, science, sports, entertainment, every profession. Let me give you a couple of statistics. In business, the relationship between CEOs and coaches is a pretty closely guarded secret. But studies report that approximately 40% of CEOs have received coaching, and more than 80% are open to receiving more coaching. So why wouldn't you be open to coaching or mentoring? Here's another statistic. Training alone can increase your productivity by 22%. That's pretty good. Training, when combined with coaching, increases productivity 88%, 4 times greater. I'm sure part of that is due to the accountability that's usually tied into coaching, as well as getting somebody else to work with you. So the third thing is my offer to you. Now, I have a very special offer for you. I want to give you 30 minutes to talk with me, and let's talk, and let's have a consultation. Let's talk about the area of your professional or personal life that you want better results in. and why achieving more is important to you. I mean, let's talk about the actions that you're not taking at all or not taking enough of, and what feelings you have that may be causing that lack of action, that procrastination. And I'll provide you with resources and options to help you close your knowing doing gap. Okay, whether it's something related to one of my coaching programs or things that you can do on your own, I will give you both options. So contact me at my phone number and my email that you see on your screen right here, and let's schedule 30 minutes to talk to each other. Now, I'm going to leave you with something else to think about. The golden opportunity that you are seeking is in you. It's not in luck or chance. It's not in wishful thinking or hope. It's not to be given to you by others. It's in you alone. In other words, opportunities and results won't just happen for you. They will happen because of you. Results are a manifestation of what you think and what you do. As Napoleon Hill wrote in his book, use your mind intelligently or it will use you. And Coach Don Shula from the Dolphins, I like a quote, I like something he had to say, and that is, it's the start that stops most people. So I'm going to finish by sharing two more things with you that I know to be absolutely true. First, you are capable, truly capable and deserving of achieving your goals and your dreams. No doubt about it. And secondly, I can help you get there. So take me up on my complimentary consultation. I'll leave you better than I found you. I guarantee that. And that really wraps up today's webinar. So one thing I want you to know is that you should receive an email that gives you 1 week access to the recording of this webinar today. But better yet, you can go to the webinars page on my website and you'll see a recording of this webinar there that's accessible anytime, any day, indefinitely. And share it with a coworker, share it with a friend or a family member, somebody who also is looking to improve the results in their life. And I want to thank you sincerely for sharing the past 30 minutes with me. And I do look forward to speaking with you again soon. Enjoy the remainder of your day. Thank you again. Good night.